We're creating a garden room, and the reason for this is to create depth and more interest into the garden. But first of all, in order to get this right, we need to create a bistro table and chairs. So how do you go about it? Well, all you're going to need is one piece of polystyrene. The one that we've got is 50 mils thick. It's 1.2 by 1 meter. Couple of things you're going to need is a board which you're going to be working on and laying it on the ground. We've then got ourselves a roofing screw, and you could use a nail or anything basically that's going to be able to penetrate through this, and importantly, make a mark onto your shutter board. That is important. So really, you can put it anywhere. The most important thing is that before you knock it in, is that it's going to reach, that your piece of polystyrene is big enough on either side of it for you to go round, because this is going to be a little round bistro table. And then Garth, you're just going to give it a bang. Right. Nice and secure. So we've decided that our radius of our bistro table is going to be
415.
Well done, Garth. 415. Remember, you can go as big or as small as you want. So you simply just put a piece of nylon across there with your pencil, and then around you go. All the way around. Garth, help me there. Perfect circle. Right, then we can take this little guy off and put him here. And now all that we need to do is this we're going to cut out, and this negative is going to form the framework for our little chairs that we're going to be making. Lovely stuff. All right, that was pretty simple. You got that? Really easy. Use your jigsaw, cut all the way through, and then you do this. Bang. Take this guy out, and you can already see that this now makes sense. This is going to form the tabletop of the bistro table, and this guy over here, we're going to show you what we're going to do with it. So let's just put him one side, and this is now going to form the molds for our seats. Now, Garth has very ingeniously found just a little Tupperware, and you know what, that's really all you need. You don't need anything fancy, and this is going to make the impression and the molds for our seats, and we're going to make 3 little seats to go around the bistro table. So you just pop it on here, Garth, and away you go. For sure. If you look after this and do it properly, you could make a whole lot out of this.
Oh, yes.
And then, you know the drill, we've got to cut out these little circles. Lovely. There we go. Alrighty. And now here we have our molds for our 3 little chairs that are going to go with our bistro table. Now what we want to do is our final bit of prepping is to make sure that we get our reinforcing in here, because with a volume this large, we want to make sure that our table is going to last for years and years. To create the reinforcing for our bistro table is pretty simple. You need to make 2 circles. So the one circle is going to be your inner circle, which will fit quite snugly around your center point. Then you've got your outer circle, which is going to be at least 5 centimeters from the edging. 2 bits of wire. You're basically using an 8-gauge wire, which you can still bend, and it's got quite a bit of flexibility. To join the circles together, cut appropriate bits and sizes of wire with a little kind of edging on it so that it can follow the inner circle, and that you're just going to attach once again with the binding wire. Once you've done that, you're simply going to take it and pop it in the center of your mold, and we're good to go. For our little chairs, similar thing. Garth, what have you done there?
Tanya, it's just 8-gauge wire, and you just made a little circle, so you've got enough. It's not too close, like you say, to the edge.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
It's very, very simple.
Brilliant. So those little guys go in there. 1, 2.
And then there.
Really, this is not brain surgery. This is pretty simple. Alrighty. Most important thing is, remember we put that nail in here. And you're probably thinking, but Tanya, why on earth did you put the nail in there? And I'll tell you right now. And Garth has made this little gadget. This is 50 mil PVC piping, and he's drilled a couple of holes in here, and that is going to go over where we had that nail going through there. Bang, over there, and we're now ready to go and get our concrete mix ready. For our mixture today, we're using the following ratio. We're using 1 builder's bucket of fine river sand. We're using half a bucket of PPC cement, and we're using a quarter bucket of 12 millimeter stone. The next thing that you need to know, in order to fill exactly the amount that we've made, so the molds, to fill the molds at the top of our bistro table, as well as the 3 seats, you're going to need double this. So whatever you're going to mix in the first lot, which is what I recommend you do in little portions, do that once. You're going to throw the bistro table, and then the second lot you'll use to do the little chairs. A small bit, as Garth would say, at a time. Nice and
pourable.
runny. That's what we want. We want something that's nice and pourable, because we're going to be using in those molds, throwing it in. We want it to get a nice smooth surface. We're going to take the reinforcing out. Okay, just put it one side. This guy we are going to leave in place, all right? Make sure that it is over where you made that mark and keep it there. So for the earliest parts, I'm going to hold it there. Garth's got our concrete mixture, and he's just going to pour it in. That's the way. Keep it there, take your trowel, and this is your first layer, which is a nice thin layer. Thanks, Garth. Just get your first thin layer down. And that should be perfect. Right, we then take our reinforcing. Garth, you can bring that across there. Take our reinforcing and just plop it on top. There we go, firm it down a bit. There we go. And now we're good to go with our next bucket. Straight on top, we know that our reinforcing is smack bang. Okay, lovely. Now let's get to our little seats. Exactly the same process. Put down your first little layer, pop this guy on, and then fill it up. That's some nice, Garth.
Yep.
Garth, we done?
Yes, Tanya, that's done.
Step 1 is complete. That is creating the tabletop for the bistro, as well as the little seats for our bistro table. Now what we need to do is leave this to dry. We're going to get to our next step, which is making the legs for these guys. Now what we've got here, Garth has already cut and sorted out the dimensions. Garth took us through this.
This is 75 millimeter dump up, what we use in our gutters, Tanya.
Okay.
And the short one for the little chairs is 650 long.
Okay.
Because I've added on 150 to go into the ground.
Correct.
And these are 900 halfway our table.
Okay.
Plus 150 into the ground.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And the easiest thing is that we've got these 3 guys. We've got a releasing agent, which is important, and take the releasing agent and you spray it on the insides of all of these potential molds. It's quite cool. From here, it's pretty simple. To make our lives easier, we've got some concrete blocks. We're gonna put these guys together, just group them together like that. We've got a bit of binding wire, and from here, hold them tight, give them a hug there. We're just gonna hold them together, group them together, and do that. The top, hold them together at the bottom, and then we just take these concrete blocks and fold them in together. Now they're going to be standing nice and secure, and that's what we want. Over here we've got some 10 mil reinforcing bar. The one is going to go into our tall mold, which is the 900, and it is not the entire length because we don't want this thing sticking out at all. So it's 10 mil short of the 900, and the second one that we've cut 3 of is also 10 mil short of the 600. First up, what we do, get a scoop of your mixture, put a little bit in, bang, into the bottom. We're using the same mix that we used in terms of ratios for our tabletop, exactly the same thing. Once you've got 1 or 2 scoops in, you're then going to take your reinforcing rod and put it in as middle as possible as you can. You just carry on filling it in right to the top. Right, our legs are now full of our concrete mixture, reinforcing bars in, and all we need to do now is leave it to dry. Up next, the final touches. We put together some beautiful containers with lovely plants, show you how to care for them, and we're nearly done.